So, in the first step of the wire sculpture, we all worked on making a proportional skeleton. So the next step is going to be adding coiling around the different body parts to create mass, okay? Because we have meat on our bones. So the first thing you'll need is to get wire, and you're gonna cut 5 yardstick lengths long. So the yardstick you can find up here on the table. You'll take this and measure it 5 times. I'm not going to measure it that long for the demo because I don't want to get tangled all around you guys right now, and I want to focus on the legs and the torso. But with your wire, you're going to need pliers, which are going to be in this bin here or on the table. And you're going to find the ones that have the snipping cutting part inside of them. And you'll want to cut that off. And keep your pliers with you. And you're also going to want to grab from this box one of the big paintbrushes. And you'll be coming back to this box to grab, there's pipes, there's also dowels and smaller paintbrushes if you want to use smaller ones for your arms. You'll see what I mean when I start wrapping with this one. So the first thing I'm going to do is attach the wire to one of my feet. I want to attach it to the front of the foot. And what I'm going to do is wrap it around the front of where the toes would be. Probably 1 or 2 times to secure it on there. And then I'm going to take my pliers and I'm going to kind of crimp that together so it's nice and secure. So I have it attached to the front of the foot, just like this. And now I'm going to build that little top part of the foot because our feet are not flat. They've got a little bit of a curve to them. So off where you're going, please pay attention. So I'm gonna take my wire, bend it kind of upwards. I'm gonna use my thumb to push it out like this and give my foot a little bit of height on here, okay? And I'm holding it down at the ankle, and that's where you're gonna wanna twist it around the ankle. I'm gonna twist it around probably 1, 2 times, feels good. And so now I have the top of my foot right here, top of the foot. I'm gonna grab my paintbrush. I'm gonna hold it onto the leg, just like so. And now you're gonna wrap your wire around the leg and the paintbrush. But be careful, if you have these longer legs, you don't wanna wrap onto this part of the paintbrush because you won't be able to pull it out because it's tapered and it gets smaller up here, so your paintbrush could get trapped inside of your leg. So I'm gonna take the paintbrush, hold it secure on the leg, and then I'm gonna wrap it around. It's not super important how far apart these are. You don't want them right next to each other or you're gonna use a lot of wire and it's gonna take a lot of time. But you don't want them too far apart because it might not give the look of the leg that we were wanting. So I'm gonna keep wrapping up and up and up. And you're going to do the same thing that you did on your feet when you decide to go up and do your hands as well. Okay, so what I showed you on the feet, it's gonna be the same thing on your hands. And so once I'm to the top of my leg, I'm gonna take out my paintbrush. I'm gonna try and twist it a little bit and pull it up, and you'll get a nice coil. And so now I'm going to work my way over, across, and then back down the legs. So you can keep using your paintbrush to put that on there, or you can choose to use a different cylindrical clasp tool. And so I'm gonna choose to use the dowel for the hips. And so what I'm doing is I'm holding the dowel again, taking my coil and wrapping it around the dowel and the hips. And so I'm right to the spine. I'm gonna twist it over the other side. And move his arm out of the way. There we go. I'm gonna wrap and wrap and wrap. Okay, and then again, I'm gonna kind of twist it. You don't want to do it too tight. I might have done it a little tight so that you can still get it out. There we go. And so now we got some mass onto our hips. And so what I would do, because you guys are gonna have that long wire, you would work your way down the other foot, or the other leg down to the foot, and after you attach that on there, you're gonna cut it, and you're gonna work your way up the torso. And so if I was to start the torso now, I might choose one of these big ones to give it a nice big body. And so with that, I'm just gonna show you guys torso and how to connect, or where you could connect the wire after you cut it off the foot. So we're gonna imagine that I went down this leg, I attached it to this foot. I'm gonna take the end of the wire I just cut. I'm gonna secure it to the base of the spine. So it's nice and wrapped around here, nice and tight. Okay, and you're gonna use your pliers again to kind of smush that in there, make sure it's nice and secure. And I'm gonna grab my pipe, hold it onto the torso. And it's okay if it's not centered, because the good thing about the coils is, like you can see here, you can move them and position them where you're gonna want them to be. So I'm gonna put my pipe on to the body and then wrap around the pipe. Sorry. Watch out for your neighbor's eyes. And I'm just gonna wrap around his body. And again, you don't wanna do them too far apart. You don't wanna do them too close together. I think this is probably a good distance for having them apart on there. And again, you're just gonna work your way up. You're also gonna have a lot longer wire than what I'm working with right now for demo purposes. And then again, I'm gonna kind of twist it and pull it up. And you'll secure the top of that to the top of your spine, so the base of your neck. And so that will give your guy some nice torso mass. And we're going to do what we did on the legs on the hands as well, and across the shoulders to create our finalized figure. Okay. So after coiling, we're going to pose our figures however you'd like, and we're going to draw a gesture drawing of the figures with an object. So if you guys remember, for like learning our gestures, we learned how to draw the figures in proportion, and we drew a gesture, and then we made a person, and we're gonna put them into a gesture. So now we're going to draw an object and then make that object out of wire to be posed with our gestures. Example here.